What you're looking at here is notes that allegedly, supposedly, Amber Heard has left over or saved up from therapy sessions. Now she claims that she's got proof of the abuse through these notes. I think it's a little too late. I mean, she needed these in court. Not that they're real or that we think they're real, but assuming, theoretically, had they been real, wouldn't she put them out there when the time was right? Now, I'm going to look at a few letters. I'm going to talk about the handwriting and things like that, but we can't get into that too much. I'm no handwriting expert, and I don't think there are that many of them out there anyway. I just want to talk about what this means, the psychological aspects, things like that. So here it is. This is from her notebook. You could see it. It says Slim on the bottom, which was her nickname Johnny gave her, he called her, something like that. And here's some other writing that looks like her therapist's handwriting. And I will say this, cursive writing can get similar at times, so I'm not really sure exactly what this means. I would bet, knowing Amber, it's not truthful. Knowing Amber, she wrote it instead her therapist did. But the thing I'm thinking is, why is she going so non-stop, so close after the trial with trying to prove that she was abused, and by the way, calling herself a victim, which she said she wouldn't do when she was on the stand being questioned by Camille. And she said she's never done it. Something to that extent. But the point is, again, caught in another lie. And if you're an Amber fan, and she keeps saying, nobody believed me, I was all alone, I faced the culture's wrath, well, she's kind of ignoring you, isn't she? All you Amber fans on Twitter, with the Amber accounts, and her friend Eve Barlow, and all these people, she's saying no one believed me. She's not saying she had some support or a lot of support. I mean socially now. We know she had support from corporations and like L'Oreal and things like that. But I mean socially, she's not really saying she had it. So it's kind of insulting to the few people who support her. So, Marianne says, I noticed something a long time ago. I bet you that Amber Heard practiced writing her signature long before she ever came to Hollywood. Her handwriting is constantly evolving and changing, much like a personality does. Handwriting and signature styles say a lot about a person. I guess so. Mine is pretty simplistic and sloppy, to be honest, because maybe I'm actually kind of lazy, so I could agree possibly. And Kyla says, turns out Amber's therapist is just one of her many personalities, maybe the one with glasses. Another good point. This is a character Amber created, this therapist, and now she brings out the writings, and maybe she doesn't know. I mean, we don't like to think, well, she's crazy, that's why she did it, but this could actually be a case of insanity. I mean, it never feels good to be like, well, the person's crazy, they're insane, and they did this thing. You know, we want to think that it was someone who did this. They were wrong about it. They got to be made an example. We can't take the easy way out with insanity. But to be honest, it really looks like it could be. Just throwing that out there. Just kind of something that crossed my mind. I thought the one with the glasses was Legal Eagle Amber Persona. Chrissy says, since when does a therapist hand over notes to their patient? Yeah, that's a really good point too. I've actually known a lot of therapists in my day. Come to think of it right now, since Chrissy mentions it, good point. A lot of therapists won't even discuss what was going on in that room in vague detail. They have this code. Handing over notes, I think, is very unrealistic, actually. I think that's a good comment. I think that's right. And Supergirl says, and by the way, I'm glad Supergirl's on Johnny's side. She's pretty powerful there, so we could use her help. Setting such a bad example, if she is not held accountable, more people will pull crap like this, and that's a horrifying thought. Obviously, a good point. Paris says, who is the therapist? She wouldn't be allowed to just hand in notes and say the therapist wrote them. I assume the therapist, herself, would have to verify they wrote them. Yeah, absolutely right. It's a really, really weird story. And for the mainstream media or even like mid-level media to report it as if it's a possibility is really, really, I'd say, damaging to their credibility for anybody who has half a brain here. T and Scandal says, I have just posted this. I said exactly the same in the flat, just the cursive T and F and any letter with a long serif like Y and G, blinking great minds. Right, so T and Scandal took a look at the handwriting and came to the conclusion they looked very similar. Here's the word on, looks like from the imaginary therapist, and this one from Amber. Once again, here's the first one, here's the second one. I mean, they're kind of similar, they're somewhat similar. Like I said, cursive can get to be repetitive, look the same for a lot of people. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not going to sit here and say, you guys got it, you nailed it. But I think thinking about the common sense aspects, especially how a therapist would not hand over notes, the timing of this, and all that, makes it really fishy. Anyway, let me know what you think down below, doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that first heard, pop culture, Little Manson, celebrity news. If you don't subscribe here, I'll be pretty sad about it, but I'll get over it, make a new video, rant over for now. See you next time.